Have all people been redeemed? There is no general redemption, there is only ever the redemption of the individual, the redemption of a being which was initially perfect and has fallen into the abyss through its own fault. Every individual being has to want and strive for its own redemption, it has to turn to the divine Redeemer Jesus Christ even in its human stage, it has to be willing to be redeemed by Him and to let Him redeem it. It has to take the path to the cross so that its guilt of sin will be redeemed and the path to the Father will be open for the being again. Jesus Christ has certainly accomplished His act of salvation for the whole of humanity, for people of the past, present and future, and no human being is excluded from it. But nevertheless, the will of the individual is first necessary for the work of redemption to be considered accomplished for him. The human being cannot be redeemed without his or her own efforts, without his or her conscious turning to the divine Redeemer and without his or her conscious request for forgiveness of his or her guilt. Jesus Christ redeemed humanity from sin and death. But if only this work of redemption, His suffering and death on the cross, had been necessary for the complete redemption of guilt, then all humanity would also be redeemed and there would no longer be any unholy being in the entire universe. But at the same time all beings would have been deprived of their free will if they had not first been allowed to decide whether they wanted to accept redemption through Jesus Christ or not. But every individual being has to make this decision itself, and it also walks the path as a human being across earth for this purpose, where it, equipped with intellect and free will, is also able to decide consciously. And therefore, it is especially important at this time to make the knowledge of salvation through Jesus Christ accessible to it, and the importance of proclaiming Jesus Christ in the world should not be underestimated. The knowledge of the most important thing in earthly life, it should influence the thinking and willingness to turn to Him. And once the path to Him has begun, it will also end under His cross, and the human being will be able to cast off his burden of debt. Through Jesus' mercy he will be relieved of it because he has carried it to the one for whom Jesus, the divine Redeemer, shed his blood. But no other can take this path from him, no other can walk it by proxy. Jesus Christ only looks at the human beings who desires his redemption from sin and death, and he will also comply with this will. But it is erroneous to think that the whole of humanity and everything spiritual is redeemed. Only the being itself makes redemption possible, although no being remains excluded from the fact that one day it will also walk the path to the cross itself, but only when it is ready for it itself. And thus, humanity could indeed end the torments of unredeemed existence itself and change its spiritual state in unity, but it would also have to walk the path to the cross in unity, it would have to confess its guilt in unity and ask for forgiveness of guilt. However, as long as this is not the case, but only individuals desire and strive for redemption through Jesus Christ, only individuals will be able to be redeemed by Him, yet these will also be and remain immeasurably blessed. For without redemption through Jesus Christ there is no beatitude, without the conscious acknowledgement of Jesus Christ the human being remains in sin and death until he himself changes his will. Amen.